Us. This is a 2018 nonpartisan Washington County Forum. We are broadcasting from beautiful St. Catherine's Hall on the St. Catherine's, Kentucky, just outside of Springfield. During the next segment of our program, again, we do hope to finish by 9 o'clock, and we have been efficient with our time this evening. But we wanted to make sure, and when I say we, it's the Democratic women that not only sent letters to all the candidates that are participating this evening, but also they sent follow-up questions. The questions we will be reading this evening are questions that these candidates have received. Now, we do have questions that will be read twice to some of our candidates, so as we do move through this, we will be pulling them from a fishbowl, reading to them to the candidates as we go in the same order of our introductions. So with that being said, we'll have our first question, and we will start with the magistrates again, and we'll start with Terry Tingle. Terry Tingle is a Republican incumbent magistrate for District Number 1. And Terry, if you'll come to the podium, we have a question. Terry, the question is, what are your plans for maintaining and improving our roads, including remote, less used roads?
Well, my plan would be, it's a lot of people came in the last 10 years, we're going to have to start trying to get them widened. It's like on my lane on 769. 30 years ago it was 3 houses back there, and now it's 8 houses back there. The roads are narrower, and I'd like to see the more the county bridges built, and where they would do better. And remote road, we just have to, some roads are dead end. I mean, you can get by with a little less on a dead end road than you do a through road because it's not hardly as much traffic on it. But my plan is to maintain them all.
Ladies and gentlemen, Republican incumbent District Number 1, Terry Tingle.
And now District 2, Democratic incumbent Benjamin Settles. Mr. Settles, what do you see as the main issue you would like to address for your district?
The main issue right now is high-speed internet. We need it over the whole county. High-speed internet could probably create more small businesses out in the community. And small business is what we need in Washington County. Small business is just like a big business. You take a small business, you got small people, but you got a lot of people. Internet is one of the biggest things that I have been asked out in the field while campaigning. Another thing is recreation for our youth, our children. We've got nothing other than a ball field and a park out here, Allied Park. Guys, it's a great park. It's a beautiful park. But all kids cannot do that. All of them can play ball, at the same time. We got a beautiful park at Willisburg. We need to do something at Willisburg, and that's my district. And we need to do something out there for the youth at Willisburg. Nothing. But that's my main issues. High-speed internet, something going on for the youth, something going on at the Willisburg Park. Thank y'all.
District 2, Democratic incumbent Benjamin Settles.
Now welcome to the podium, Republican candidate for District Number 3. Here is Bobby Lee Russell. Bobby Lee, what are your thoughts about providing garbage and recycling services to the county?
Well, by all means, we've got to keep it up. I mean, I know with the closing of the landfill, we're going to be faced with the hard decision of, what we're going to do with that. I mean, I'm old enough to remember when we used to drive along the side of the roads and see garbage dumps along the side of the road, and we sure don't want to get back to that. So we've got to keep this up. Recycling is a great thing. Every time I go out to the trailer there at Macville to put my recycling in, it's always full. So people are using it. We've definitely got to keep that going. So whatever we can do to keep that. I mean, I know a tight budget and things like that, but I do know that's the main issue that we've got to keep going in our county to keep the beautiful county that we've got. So.
Candidate for Magistrate District Number 3, Republican Bobby Lee Russell.
District 4, Democratic candidate Sue McIntyre Blair. Sue, what are your plans for maintaining and improving our roads, including the remote and less used roads?
Well, my opinion on that would be that as we have 6 districts, maybe at some point one district doesn't need all the money that's allocated to that district for their roads, so they can, I mean, for me, for example, in District 4, I've got a lot of city, so maybe I don't have as much road frontage as some of the other areas do. So maybe it's a matter of, 1 year, whatever, I give up some of my money to another district that needs it. Just a collaborated effort between everybody, and not, this is just my little piece of the pie and I'm not sharing kind of a thing. Spreading the love, so to speak, and just putting it out there. And as a school bus driver, I kind of like Terry Tingle's idea of a little bit more shoulders on the roads would be nice too. Thank you.
It's District 4 Democratic candidate Sue McIntyre Blair.
Continuing with District number 4 candidates, here is Democrat Larry Vaughn Carney. Larry, what do you see as the main issue you would like to address for your district?
As issues go, I would like to see something done for our EMS as far as facilities and technology. The EMS is a service that if we don't need it ourselves, someone in our family is going to need it at some point. Whether we get older and have issues and need an ambulance, or whether we have, like myself and my son, seem like we have a thing with jacks, and we had to call for EMS, both of us, at some point. And as Jerry Clower says, when 2 people see something that haven't spoken to each other, then that's scriptural. And as I've been on the campaign trail, I've had more than one person talk to me about the EMS and their facilities and technology. One of my views is if we could move them out to the Commerce Center out there by ECTC, then they would, in just a few turns, they would be to Highway 150 or Highway 555, where most of the accidents seem to occur in our county. And if we did that, or if that was possible and fiscally sound, then that would open up a building on Armory Hill, where they are now, to perhaps have a place for our youth, where we could have, as Mr. Lawless said, have things for them to do that challenges their minds, or give them a place to go in the afternoons.
Candidate for Maastricht in District number 4, Democrat Larry Vaughn Carney.
District number 4 Republican incumbent Johnny Coyle. What are your thoughts about providing garbage and recycling services to the county?
I guess my 2 years that I've had as magistrate, most of my calls involves recycling, or lack of recycling by neighbors and individuals that live in adjacent properties, wash-offs. And as we get people in from other counties and other states that are coming in here, they're going to be more and more demanding that we have recycling and garbage pickup, and that everything is clean and neat. Where they come from, it's going to be that way, and they expect us to do the same thing here. So hopefully we'll be able to do that. Thank you.
District 4 Republican incumbent Johnny Coyle.
Now District number 5. Here is Democratic candidate Ricky Fields. Ricky, what do you see as the main issue you would like to address for your district?
Like I said earlier, we have a bridge down on St. Rose Road, Loretta Road. It's very narrow. Passing in it is almost impossible. If you meet big vehicles, people have to stop to let them through. It's a kind of a safety issue as far as, our children and older people too, especially. As far as that, we'd like to see that replaced. I know there's several people that I've talked to said they would like to see it replaced as well. That's probably the main thing that I have.
District number 5, candidate for magistrate, Democrat Ricky Fields.
District number 5 Democratic candidate John H. Graves. John, what are your plans for maintaining and improving our roads, including the remote and less used roads?
First of all, I would like to thank our road department for their tireless efforts to maintain our roads on a daily basis. Road maintenance is a never-ending challenge, and their dedication to keep us safe is much appreciated. When we look at maintenance of our roads, it is important to remember that it's more than just blacktop. When we evaluate an area, we need to look at trimming the trees and the brush back from the road so that vehicles may pass safely. We need to make sure that the ditching is adequate to remove water runoff away from the road base so that the integrity of the road base stays solid. We need to evaluate the base failures and fix them so that trouble spots don't reemerge in the future. Then we need to blacktop the road so it's safe for all to travel. I believe that all roads are important and we need to maintain all of our roads to the same degree. I assure you that the people that live on the lower volume roads believe that their road is just as important as the higher traffic volume road.
District 5 Democratic candidate John H. Graves.
And now District number 5, candidate Democrat Sean Mattingly. Sean, what do you see as the main issue you would like to address for your district?
Definitely the main issue of ours is definitely the bridge at 152. All my life, I know when I drive through there, I know to slow down if I'm meeting somebody. But I got a daughter that just started driving 3 weeks ago. She don't. And with that being said, Maker's Mark Distillery is growing. We've got more and more transportation, big trucks that's going down the road every day. I would like to know how many travel the road because it seems like they come through by the dozens. And those same people that's hauling that product down there, they don't know either to slow down when they meet a young lady that's 16 years old, or maybe it's my mother who's 65 years old. You know, you never know. And I definitely think that's the biggest project that needs to happen. However, with that being said, it's, you know, that's more on the state side of it, but I don't have a problem going to knock on doors in Frankfort. Thank you very much.
Candidate for Magistrate in District number 5, Democrat Sean Mattingly.
District number 5 Democratic candidate Matt Medley. Matt, what are your thoughts about providing garbage and recycling services to the county?
Garbage pickup is an issue that our county will have some tough decisions to make on in the near future. While I feel strongly that our garbage pickup will obviously continue on as normal, where our garbage is going to go is going to be a decision that we'll have to make with our landfill closing. I'm all in on recycling. It's an excellent service to our community and it's much needed. To go along with the garbage, though, one issue that I do have that I would like, you know, if elected, I would like the court to take another look at is our countywide cleanup program. While our countywide cleanup program is a great deal, and I think it has been fairly effective, in years past, our county actually provided the service of coming and picking up the garbage off the side of the roads. I think in its current state, you know, where we were, you know, yes, we opened up our landfill for, 60 days for people to bring their trash in free of charge. That's great service, but I feel like our county's missing out on getting full advantage of this opportunity because some people don't have the means, they don't have the time, maybe they don't have the gumption to load all their stuff up and take it in themselves whenever they could just pile it on the side of the roads like they used to be able to do, and the county come pick it up for them. And I feel like if we utilize it the right time of year to provide that service, you know, the financial means of it, you know, how much it's going to cost the county is obviously something that we'll have to take into consideration. But I do feel like there are times a year where, you know, maybe our county's not as busy doing road work or mowing or, you know, worried about salting roads or treating roads or things like that, that we could provide that service once again like we did in the years past and get more out of the program.
District 5 Democratic candidate Matt Medley.
And now District 5 Magistrate candidate Democrat Jason Chico Mudd. Jason, what do you see as the main issue you would like to address for your district?
I would think the main issue would be the trash on the side of the roads where people's littering, and we need to take that trash, pick it up, and turn it into recycling. Thank you.
Very good. Jason Chico Mudd, Democratic candidate, Magisterial District Number 5.
Now, District 6, Democratic candidate Philip L. Carrico. Philip, what are your thoughts about providing garbage and recycling services to the county?
Well, like I touched on talking before, garbage pickup and recycling is tremendous for this county to call our county a clean, certified county. So I think the garbage pickup for the whole county, even though I know there's some people that don't like paying the bill for it or whatever, but that's a minimum cost to get rid of your household garbage. I mean, what else you going to do with it? I mean, I can remember back when you used to drive down the road and you've seen ditches and everything else and people burning garbage or whatever. We don't want to go back to that. And the recycling is a tremendous asset to the county, and hopefully, I know it's not a money-making thing for our county. They struggle every day and at all the budgets, you know, I'll ask Brad Langford, how are we doing this month? What's the metal prices? What's the cardboard bring this much? How are we doing? You know, I know it's not an income for the county, but it's a good thing for the county, and I just hope we can keep it up.
District 6, Democratic candidate Philip L. Carrico.
District Number 6, Republican Magisterial candidate Paul E. Lewis. Paul, what do you see as the main issue you would like to address for your district?
It is the drug problem. I mean, this thing is out of control. We got such a great young generation that's just getting lost. You know, I don't know, we need programs to give them something to do. We don't have activities for our kids to do. The park, Williamsburg, what we could do here, you know, everybody's not a basketball player. You know, they need something else to do. Well, we got to get some kind of prevention on these drugs. If we don't, we got a beautiful county. It's second to none. And I love this county. But if we don't stop the drug problem, it's not going to stay this pretty. If we can't get the young people, we got jobs that can't be filled. $15 an hour jobs. When I graduated high school in 1984, I would have died for a job like that. If we don't get these drugs under control, the rest of it is going to be to naught, because, you know, what do we got if we ain't got our youth? That is our future. Thank you.
Magisterial candidate, District Number 6, Republican Paul E. Lewis.
District 6, Democratic candidate Jason Mattingly. Jason, what are your plans for maintaining and improving our roads, including the remote, less used roads?
I think it's going to be really important to, as a magistrate, that's probably one of our main objectives, is to how to take care of the roads. As somebody made a point earlier, anybody that lives on a small road is not going to think anything less of their road as they do the more traveled roads in the county. So, you know, I intend to keep those roads up, just like the more traveled roads. I also think it's important that you know, we do look at all roads and the amount of traffic that they get, and you know, assess the needs based on that. But I also believe that the smaller roads and you know, like some of the newer communities maybe that have added some houses need to be looked at going forward. So, thank you.
District 6 Democratic candidate Jason Mattingly.
And now for our district judges. We remind you we did come up with a set of questions as well for the district judges, and they were mailed to them before our event this evening. We will start with candidate from Lebanon, Jude A. Hagan. Jude, what do you think are the most important qualifying characteristics for a district judge?
Well, I believe that first and foremost, a judicial temperament, the ability to keep control in the courtroom, because if there's not control in the courtroom, then it's chaos. Oftentimes, the issues that you're facing are not as complex as what you deal with in circuit court. So you're much more dealing with people on a very personal level. Many of the people that you see in district court, frankly, you've seen before. And you're trying again and again to make that connection with them. And it is, so I would believe that first and foremost, it's your temperament and the ability to keep calm in the courtroom. It's often a volatile situation. You have to maintain order, but also maintain that rapport of compassion and dignity to try to reach that person, because, again, you've probably seen them many times before, and you're probably going to see them again, unfortunately. So you hope to maybe that one time to plant that seed, to catch lightning in a bottle, and to make a connection that there's a different way. So between calm confidence, the temperament, and the ability to show compassion to the person while holding them accountable. It all ties in together. Thank you.
Candidate for District Judge from Lebanon, Jude A. Hagan.
District Judge candidate from Campbellsville, Mike Hall Jr. Mike, what education or training have you received that qualifies you for the position of District Judge?
Of course, to touch base on some of the earlier things, of course, we've all got a ton of education. I graduated Eastern Kentucky University way back in 1989 with a bachelor's degree in political science and a minor in speech and communication studies. I graduated University of Kentucky Law School, 18th in my class out of 122. But the experiences are probably more important than the education. In law school, they teach you how to find the law. They don't teach you how to practice law. Back when I started practicing way back in 1993, George Graves could attest that the clerks taught the young lawyers how to practice law. With our new judicial centers, as nice and grand as they are, most of the young lawyers now talk to the clerks through a 3-inch slit in the glass. And so it has fallen upon the more senior members of the bar to assist those younger lawyers in practicing law and learning the practice of law. And so with respect to that, the fact that I've sat on the bench before, and of course back in 1998, I think we maintained an average of about 2,500 open cases in 4 counties at any time. My experiences in pretrial services, and I have maintained my district court practice all along by being on the GAL appointment list, by being on that guardianship appointment list, by having served in all the community organizations that I served in. I get a much better idea, again, of the needs of those communities, and I know a lot of folks have talked about coaching youth sports teams. But when you coach the teams where you got to go pick the kids up for practice at their homes, and you got to buy them food, and you got to buy them clothes, and you got to buy them gloves and cleats because they don't have them, you adopt those kids for 3 months at a time. And so again, over 17 years of doing that, you get a little bit better idea of what the needs in your community are. My experiences in working with local ASAP groups, with working with the Council-Taylor County Anti-Drug Coalition, the Heartland Coalition in Marion County, interagency, in finding all of those community agencies that pitch in to find solutions for these problems in district court. As I touched on earlier, district court's people court, we're trying to find solutions to keep those families and children from coming back in as defendants. Being embedded in the community, working with all those community service organizations gives you a much better experience to try to find those individual solutions, as Jude mentioned, for those people's problems. And so, again, education, we've all got a law degree. We've all got an undergrad degree. We don't all have 25 years of experience practicing law, and we don't all have 25 years of experience working all the time in the community as public servants. Thank you.
From Campbellsville, District Judge candidate Mike Hall Jr.
Now from Campbellsville, District Judge candidate Luke Lawless. Luke, what do you think are the most important qualifying characteristics for a district judge?
I think it goes without saying that your judge needs to be fair, treat people with respect, have the right temperament, be approachable, be humble. But for me, in taking a step further, and what I feel like I bring to the table is a strong work ethic. We need somebody in the courtroom that's going to work to help the people that we continue to see over and over again. And My dad was fortunate enough to earn a basketball scholarship at Campbellsville University, and that paid for his college, and he was the first one in his family to graduate. He's worked at a factory his whole life, and I've seen him for many years get up extremely early, come home extremely late, and I know what it looks like to work hard. Nothing changes because I wear a suit and a tie. I still have that same work ethic. I know what it means to work hard for people. So making a change to our court systems and trying to rehabilitate these folks like we've all talked about doing, it's not going to come from sitting on the bench. We're not going to see the change when these people are standing in front of us. It's going to come when we're off the bench. And a lot of times that's going to be on our own personal time. And I plan to speak with our cabinet workers, our jailers, our county judges, and say the programs that we have in place, or the programs that we're talking about implementing in our communities, what's working, what do you see that we could do better? That's how we're going to make a change, and that's how we're going to get people back in our communities. So, it's more than just sitting on the bench and making appearances. I feel like I'm going to put in that extra time to actually be involved in the community. We have some programs that our judges can participate in now, like the drug court. I'd love to be active in the drug court. When I see people come in front of me and say, I'm going to give you the opportunity to try some treatment. Well, if I show up to the meetings and participate, and they see me there, that I'm playing an active role in them trying to make a change in their life, I think that's going to go a long way in helping them with their rehabilitation. So for me, it's work ethic.
Candidate for District Judge from Campbellsville, Luke Lawless.
Candidate for District Judge from Lebanon, Dawn L. McCauley. What experience do you have that you believe will be relevant to your execution of the duties of a district judge?
Well, my experience probably started actually in high school for me. I went to Catholic school educated and spent a lot of time in debate and spent a lot of time competing in that. Graduated high school at 16 years old, and I went on to college. I finished college in 3 years with a degree in business law and in psychology. So a little bit different experience than any of my opponents because I think the psychology degree and my experience in that field will be very helpful to me as judge. The other thing that I did while I was in college, I did an externship at a youth community center. It's actually a juvenile detention center of sorts. They were trying to do something a little different. I went to college in North Carolina, and they were trying to do something a little different. Instead of locking up their juveniles, they put them in a house, and they were all living together in that house, and they had an ability to try to work with them in a different way and in more positive role modeling in that way. And I worked in that house while I was in college, so I have that experience dealing with the juvenile delinquents and trying to rehabilitate them to become members of the society. Then I went on to law school. I clerked with Judge Tom Knopp, and I worked with him in the circuit court judge in Jefferson County before he retired. I learned a lot working for Judge Knopp. I had the experience of being in the courtroom with him when cases were tried and he made decisions, and he had a way of managing his courtroom that made sure that everybody got in there and had a fair shake at it, and he made quick decisions, made them promptly, and I believe that I can do that as well. Then after law school, and I came to work in Lebanon, Kentucky for Theodore H. Lavitt, better known as Ted Lavitt, which I agree with Mike on that. We don't learn anything in law school about practicing law. What I learned about practicing law, I learned riding around in the car with Ted, taking my life in my own hands, driving with Ted. But he did take me to all the courtrooms that I needed to go to, and I started to learn how to actually practice law. And I actually think that if you don't do that as an attorney, if you don't go work for some older attorney and learn how to practice law, I don't think you'll ever really figure it out, or if you do, it'll take you years to do it. So that's part of what I bring to the table. And then after that, I hung up my own shingle at 26 years old. I decided that it was time for me to have my own business, and I did that. And I went out and I volunteered to the district court judges. I said, please appoint me on these district court cases because nobody else is showing up for these kids, and I'll do it. I don't do it for the money. I don't do it for the experience other than having a lot of tears. But what I did it for was because these kids need somebody to speak for them. And at the time that I started volunteering, nobody was. Thank you.
From Lebanon, District Judge Candidate Dawn L. McCauley.
From Camelsville, District Judge Candidate Jeremy Ansel Wood. Jeremy, what education or training have you received that qualifies you for the position of District Judge?
Thank you for the question. Obviously, we all have law degrees. We all have undergraduate degrees, as was previously mentioned. During law school, I did clerk for a federal magistrate judge. I have volunteered many hours and not requested a fee in juvenile court. I've been appointed to represent parents who were accused of abusing or neglecting their children. I've also been appointed as a GAL to represent those children who have suffered at the hands of their parents or some other person some sort of problem. I am familiar with district court. I've spent a lot of time there. I've done probate cases. I've done all of these things that a district judge presides over at one time or another. I have participated for the last several years in programs presented by many of us attorneys in the local schools for seniors to teach them about debt and credit so that they come out with a better knowledge and understanding of what they're facing in the financial world as they start their lives. I just recently participated in Truth and Consequences in Taylor County, where we take high school freshmen and show them the results of bad decisions and who they're going to interact with in our system, whether it be police officers, principals, pharmacists, social workers, whoever it may be. I have participated for the last several years as an assistant Commonwealth attorney in Legal Day that we do there in Taylor County as well, where we show the leadership students what we do, give them a sample grand jury experience, give them a sample trial experience, show them the jail, let them know what's going on so that they understand better what choices and what consequences face our youth. I have served in numerous roles, worn various hats, and I think that gives me a unique perspective. As I said before, I've practiced all kinds of civil cases, all kinds of criminal cases as both a defense attorney and a prosecutor. I would bring all of this experience to the bench, and I believe it would give me a unique ability to serve you. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, District Judge Candidate from Camelsville, Jeremy Ansel Wood. Ladies and gentlemen, as we close our program, let's give our candidates a round of applause. But candidates, give the audience a round of applause as they have done an awesome job this evening showing a lot of respect for this event. To close us this evening, we are going to ask Diane Sims, President of the Democratic Women's Club, to make her way to the podium. While she's doing that, we do want to thank our sponsors this evening. They do include Springfield Washington County Chamber of Commerce, Rose Bookkeeping, Democratic Women's Club of Washington County Democratic Committee, the Dominican Sisters of Peace. We want to remind you a week from tonight, we will be back in here starting at 7 o'clock, also on the air on 100.9 WLSK, to talk to the additional candidates from Washington County. Included will be county judge executive candidates, those running for sheriff, jailer, county clerk, county attorney, state representative, and state senate. Now to close us this evening, here is Diane Sims.
Okay, thank you very much, all the candidates. I hope it's been educational for our audience and helpful to all of you. I would be amiss not to thank the committee that has worked several weeks on this forum. I'd like to personally thank right now Sister Marilyn Pearson, Sister Mary Bridget, Nell Hayden, Julie Jones, Beth Gore, Belle Sutton, Betty Brookfield, Susan Simpson, and myself. Thank you very much. And we'll see you next week. Good night.